I'm just going to give a moment as folks trickle in from the waiting room. Okay, just another moment as folks are joining. Okay, hi everyone and welcome. I'm Sarah Bassett, the MOQ1 Knowledge Manager, and I'm excited to guide you through today's session in our advanced webinar series. I see some familiar names in the crowd, but whether you're already familiar with MOQ1 or just starting out, this is a series designed to give you the tools and insights you need to elevate your experience and really drive results. Each Thursday, we have been diving into powerful strategies, tips, and best practices to help you unlock the full potential of MOQ1. Today, we will be focusing on data and reporting. This is an essential part of optimizing your shop's growth and driving revenue. I'm excited to walk you through MOQ1's reporting tools and how to use them to track success, monitor performance, and make data-driven decisions. We also just launched some pretty exciting updates to our reporting system, so it's better than ever. So in today's session, we will cover how to navigate the various reporting tools in MOQ1, tips for using reports to track and analyze shop performance, examples of how to use your data to refine your strategy and maximize growth. We also have time reserved for Q&A at the end, so feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A section as they come up, and I'll make sure they're addressed. I'll also be sending a follow-up email later today with a recording of this webinar, some sample reporting that we'll use throughout the demo, and other resources that become relevant throughout our Q&A. And just a quick reminder, this is part of a 6-week webinar series. So be sure to stick with us as we explore additional advanced topics over the next 3 weeks and as we close out the series. So let's dive in, review some functional tips, and start using your data to take MOQ1 to the next level. Let's get started, and I will go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so as most of you have seen, integrating MOQ1 shops into your business strategy adds incremental revenue almost immediately. Your clients are excited to purchase for themselves and their employees. Many are even marketing their shops to customers. But understanding each shop's performance will give you the tools to really maximize your profit rather than just adding to it. We've integrated a host of reporting tools to support you in your analysis of your shops, and reporting is available to every user type. Now, that being said, we ensure that each user is only seeing data that's relevant to them. That means shop creators are only seeing their own shop data and commissions, while shop admins can see it all. So let's jump into the shop admin account for the company servicing this shop to explore the types of reports available, and then we'll get into the specifics of each report as well. So as a shop admin, it's important that you have access to data for all the shops within your company directory. Similarly, if you're a shop creator, you want to keep tabs on the performance of all your shops. So one fantastic tool that we've built into the MOQ1 platform is this reporting dashboard. So as soon as you log in, you're going to see cumulative data for all the shops you have access to. This is a really nice quick reference for shop admin, shop creators, and report viewer accounts. So here you're going to see page views, conversions, sales, and total commission data that's relevant to your shops. If something catches your eye on this dashboard, you can jump over to the reporting section of the account to take a closer look. Now, the data you use to determine whether your shops or reps are successful will vary from company to company. However, our goal with the reporting functions is to provide you the raw data to analyze as you see fit. So each report that we offer will fall into one of 3 categories. Up top, we have the sales reports, which are aggregate sales totals organized by different metrics. Order reports in the middle, which are granular reports that allow you to see individual order data. And at the bottom here, we have specialty reports. These provide data that's not directly related to orders, but will be helpful in analyzing user, shop, and product performance. So let's dive into each individual report so you know exactly what data you have at your disposal. Let's start with sales by date. Now, before we dive into sales by date and why it's so valuable, I just want to take a moment to familiarize you with the functions available on every reporting screen. So right off the bat, we have a date range. This is going to default to today's date. However, we have some quick ranges you can select here on the left, as well as custom range, or you can just click on the calendar in order to modify the date range that way. You can also click up here and change the time zone. If for any reason when your account was created, your time zone was not entered correctly, you can modify that here. So let's just jump into the last 7 days here. Now, each report also has a search box here, so you can quickly filter this data down. And it's worth noting that any data in the report can be searched for. So if you have a particular total you're looking for, you can search that here. When we get into later reports, you can enter customer name, city, state, anything like that, and it'll filter that data down for you. You can also export any report to Excel. This will be exported in an XLSX format. I have exported a bunch of sample reports that I've dumped into Google Docs just so we can be a little bit more efficient with the demo portion of this. But just for your knowledge, you can export here. You can also copy the filtered sheet to your clipboard for quick email communication if you just want to plop this data in and send it off to somebody. We also have these column visibility options. Now, this is super important. All fields within this column visibility screen will export within your Excel file. However, we limit the default view to the most commonly requested information for each report. So let's expand this and just add commission data here. We also have the ability to modify the number of rows. So by default, we're going to show the first 25 rows, and that is in order from most recent to the oldest. So you can click here. You can also expand to 50 or show all. For the purposes of this demo, this is a sample shop. So we're dealing with some pretty small sample sizes until we open up those exported reports. So let's just leave it at 25. Okay, now sales by date. This is a simple aggregate report that allows you to see the number of orders, quantity of items, order totals, and commissions for orders placed within your shops on a given day. So now I've created these sample reports we can review as we move through each report and its functions. So let's jump over there and we can take a look at sales by date here. So sales by date is a valuable report as a standalone report when you're tracking the success of shop marketing strategies or analyzing year-over-year trends. You can also use this report to analyze average cart value and item value by date. So here I've input a couple of formulas here. So we have the subtotal divided by the number of orders here in order to determine the average cart value. And once you enter this formula once, you can just drag this down. Anyone who's familiar with Excel will know this. And you can see that information for every single date within your report. So similarly, you can calculate the average commission per order. So I did that based on, where are we? The commission divided by the order total. And here, so then we know how much commission we're earning on a given day, right? So that's really valuable information as well. Let's jump back over to the portal and we'll take a look at another report. So sales by payable is a vital report for distribution of funds to your reps and payables. We'll just do the last 7 days again so we can see all these sample orders that I put in for the purpose of this demo. It also allows you to track the success of each payable shops in aggregate. So I want to note here on the topic of commissions, this comes up a lot. We send monthly commission checks. So how that works is we will send one check to your shop, or I'm sorry, your company payable. And that's the one that you created or we created for you when your account was created. Those checks are sent on the 15th of the following month. So for example, checks for January's commissions were sent a few days ago. I also want to note that we require a $100 threshold, but this is an aggregate of all time, all shops, and all payables combined. So that means if you have one shop that made $10, one that made $90, that would add together to reach that $100 threshold. And this is not you earning $100. This is all of the payables within your company directory. So I want to be very clear about that. If anyone has any questions about how that works, feel free to pop them in the Q&A. But that one comes up pretty often. Let's take a look at a sample export of this report so that we can get a little bit more data here. Okay, so each of the payables listed here is owed commission from the sales that occurred during my selected date. So for ease, I selected the month of January for all of these reports. So here you are going to see the payee name, the number of orders associated with their shops, the sales totals for those orders, and the total commission owed to each payable. Taking a look at this data at regular intervals can help you analyze the performance of your sales team and identify reps whose shops are revenue drivers. This allows you to share strategies with the rest of your team, create shop marketing protocols, and generate more revenue company-wide. Let's jump over to the next report here. So this one is sales by product. This is another very valuable report that will give you insights into which products are your top movers. This report will list all product styles as well as any featured products you've created and the total quantity ordered during your day range. So I also want to note that all of these reports can be generated at the company directory level by you as a shop admin, by a rep for their shops that they've created, or it can be pulled at the shop level. So if you want to get really detailed with this data, you can do that. You can also use this information to present reports to your clients about how their shops are doing. Let's go back over to the portal because we have a great report next here. So the sales by shop report is one I want to spend a good amount of time on because it's a really powerful tool to understand the success of each of your shops. So right off the bat, you can see the total value of all orders associated with each shop. Obviously, there's only one shop in my little test account here. However, we'll jump over to the sample report in just a moment. You can also see the commission you earned from that particular shop. However, you can use this data to analyze your average cart value, average item value, and average of number of items per transaction to gain insights into your customers' behaviors that can inform your marketing strategies. So let's take a look again at sales by shop. So I fleshed this one out a little bit more for you, just adding a couple of shops. So understanding your average cart value here, so average order value, can help you and your clients determine how much money is appropriate to spend on conversions in digital marketing campaigns. So here we just have the total divided by the number of orders. And if I bring this down, we can see the average order value is varying a lot from my shops, but I have a really high average order value, right? So the products in the shop vary from, $20 or $18 up to $60, depending on some of those branded things, right? So this tells me, along with the quantity, whether my customers are going for those high price tag items or just adding a bunch of stuff to the cart. If your orders generally contain a high average number of items, you can kind of contour your marketing message to highlight product pairs as well. Oop, here we go. High number, there we go. So here, again, we have a pretty significant variation in average number of items per transaction between my shops. So we can see here that, if we have 3 items here, we can look at our average item value. So again, average item value is going to be the total divided by the quantity. And we can see that the actual average value of the items is pretty similar throughout all of my shops. So that tells me that my customers have really similar price points, and these are accessible to my customer base. However, if I was noticing that maybe in shop number 2, we have a $60 average item value, that tells me the branded stuff is probably moving really well in that shop. And it tells me those high order values, high item value orders are accessible to my customers, and I can cater my marketing campaigns to those higher value items. Okay, let's jump back over to the portal and we are going to look at another really important report here. So orders by date, we'll expand the date range here. Orders by date is your best resource for granular order data. So this is going to include all the details you may need about each order. And I want to be clear, all of these reports are updated in real time. So if someone were to place an order in my shop right now, I feel like I should have coordinated that just to make the point, that order would pop up in this report in real time. You're also going to see order ID, customer name, total, and commission total. So commission total, I think, is hidden right now. Let's break that out so we can see the total commission on each order. So because I am a shop admin, I am seeing my own commission as well as any commission for folks that are at the shop level as well. So if you're profit sharing with a client, that would be added in here. I'll show you where we can break that down. Or actually I already did. The shops or sales by payable would break that down for you so you know how to distribute those funds. So now this also gives you access to order details about every individual order. So if I click this order ID, I'm going to be brought to the order details screen. And from here, you can see the specific products that were ordered, a breakdown of the price paid, and a record of all the emails sent to your customer about the order. So that's what you're seeing over here. We also have these different tabs that you can open. So here you're seeing order details. Here we see the commission breakdown by payable for this particular order. And within emails, you're going to see the subject of the email, the time it was sent, all of those details. You can also resend the emails. So here I can send it to Sarah at MOQ1 because I placed this order, or I can send this to myself as the admin in this account. So both of those are options. So if your customer were to make a typo in their email for any reason, you can send this to yourself and forward it to your customer. Okay, let's jump back over to the portal here. Let's look at orders by shop. So this one is really similar to orders by date. However, if all the information in orders by date is important to you, but you'd prefer to see the shop name instead of the customer information, that's where you would rely on this orders by shop report. Okay, now we have a few additional reports that are new. So the product export down here, this is going to generate a list of all products, both active and inactive, along with their base costs and your sale price in your shops. So the sale price is going to include any markups that you've added. And we also have line items here for upcharges for larger sizes and back prints. So that will be an additional line item rather than being integrated into the price and averaged out, because obviously that gets more complicated. Your average price isn't necessarily inclusive of those additional variants. So we want you to be able to divide those things up separately. Okay, let's jump over to the sample report because there is actually a fun trick you can use to look at the total commission that you are earning off of each item that you sell. So this will allow you to quickly calculate your commission on the sale of each item in a spreadsheet. So here we are just looking at the price minus the cost, right? And that delta column is going to be your commission earned. So if we break this down, I'm just going to go to where we're visible. We can actually see which item we're making the most money off of, right? When combined with sales by product, this becomes a really great tool to analyze which products are your biggest revenue drivers. So obviously we have a lot of value here in some of these products, but whether people are purchasing those, that's where you'll have to look at the sales by product report and combine this to see what the landscape of products looks like for your particular shop. Okay, now let's look at traffic by date. So this is a specialty report that will help you analyze your conversion rates. Are your shops receiving maybe a lot of traffic, but not converting into sales? That would tell you you may need a design or product revision to better appeal to your customers. If your shops are receiving little to no traffic at all, maybe your clients are not marketing their shops, right? This provides you a great opportunity to touch base with your clients and see how you can guide their marketing efforts. You're able to be a super valuable resource to your clients here. We actually just launched a QR code in the marketing tab of the MOQ1 portal. So you can actually give them a QR code for their shops, help them share on social media, guide them in adding a link for their shop to their websites. And the more your customers share their shops, the more sales they're going to create, which is going to translate to more money in your pocket. So this conversion rate, I'm just looking at the conversions over page views to give me a rate. So that I know on particular days I had a higher conversion rate. Maybe that's connected with a marketing campaign that I used to drive some traffic to my shops. So yes, conversion rate is going to be very, very important for you. Let's also jump over to the user export here. So this is a brand new report designed to give shop admins insight into the adoption of the reps in your company directory. Are your reps logging in, right? So we have the last login date. That's really important. Are they building shops? We have the number of shops created here in this column. Maybe you notice that John here has created 32 shops for his clients, but Paul has only created 3. This is an opportunity to intervene early with Paul and figure out how to help your reps be more successful. Maybe you want to incentivize them with profit sharing to sweeten the deal, or maybe they just need more help with the platform itself in order to feel confident building shops. They also may need help presenting shops to clients. So we're integrating more materials for you and your reps to present these shops more effectively. We have a one-page sell sheet, which actually I'm going to write down right now. I will include in my follow-up email. And we're also working on a shop introduction video so that you can send a video to your client to walk them through how the shop actually works and why it's such a value add to their business. So these are all actionable items, which when addressed can help you drive more revenue. On its face, the reporting section of your MOQ1 account is just data, right? But once you determine what metrics are important to your business, this feature opens up a world of insights that will help you optimize your shop performance. So now that you're hopefully feeling a little more confident with the reporting functions and how you can leverage them, what information do you think will be the most important to you when evaluating success for your business? I'm going to open up the Q&A to see what you've all been thinking about through the demo. So I'm going to stop sharing here and let's pull it over. Oh, hi, Charles. An orders by date, I love that, but can you add a shop column to that report? So we actually, in orders by date, that's kind of a query that we're not able to add into the report right now, but you can get the shop information from those order details that I showed you on screen. I'll send that note over to our developers though. Last I heard, that wasn't something we were able to accommodate, but it never hurts to ask. Just want to make sure. There's only actually one more question. My operations manager told me someone went into our backend and changed the 30% commission to 10. How would this happen? That cannot happen, Arthur. So we might have to look into that specifically. The 30% base commission is built into your account. There is no ability to change that by any user. It's built into the structure of the websites. So if, for instance, maybe you created a shop with a certain commission amount, you can go in and edit that rule, but other users don't have access to that. So we'll have to take a closer look at that particular scenario in order to get some more definite answers for you there. Mauricio, I missed the first portion. Will you be sending a recording? Yes, I'll be sending a reporting. I also will be sending some example reports that have some formulas integrated into a Google Doc that'll help you kind of analyze some of these things, and a sell sheet that we have created for you to be able to present these shops to your clients. In the reporting section, is there a way to save the dates as you go from report to report, or do you have to keep going to custom dates every time? You do have to enter that information every time. So it's going to vary from user to user, report to report for the most part. So we don't have an option to save that information as you're navigating through the platform. But again, it never hurts to ask. So I'll chat with our developers about it. Okay, is there a limit to how many designs I can add to my shop? So absolutely not. You can add as many designs to any shop as you'd like. You can add as many shops to your account as you'd like. So we have absolutely no limitations in that regard. So your customer can absolutely upload 6 different logos. Is there an option to look at the year-end report? So yes, you would have to expand that date range. That's not one of the quick ranges that we have. Most businesses want to break this down month by month when they're analyzing the key metrics for their businesses. So it's not one of the quick ranges that we built in, but yes, you can absolutely expand the range to a full year. Sorry, I'm writing some of this stuff down as questions are coming in. These are great. Keep them coming. I just want to add that, oh, I'm sorry. My client is a nonprofit. Is there a way to add their tax exemption certificate? So let's talk about taxes for a second. So with the MOQ1 platform, we collect and remit taxes on behalf of every sale. We are the ones that the customers are directly purchasing from because you are not holding any inventory. Your client is not holding any inventory. What you're doing is connecting them with the ability to sell online, right? So if your client is a nonprofit, the customer is not technically purchasing from your client. Your client is just making commissions on the sale, possibly, depending on whether you want to share commission, right? However, if your client is a nonprofit and they are selling internally to their own employees, we can refund the tax on those on a case-by-case basis. There's no way to like bake it into the shop because we don't know whether that person's an employee at the point of sale. However, yes, we can absolutely accommodate refunding that tax. Just send us the tax exemption certificate and an order ID, and we can take care of those on a case-by-case basis. Okay, Charles has an advanced question here. So I'm going to read this one aloud, Charles. We're going to really let everyone else dip their toes in. Charles was talking to one of our sales leaders here yesterday. So he has some more advanced questions about reporting. So I am really into AI and automation. Have you heard of anyone automating these reports and sending out to customers monthly instead of having to log in and send them one by one? That is a really great question. I have not heard of anyone utilizing the platform in that way yet, but maybe you'll be the pioneer there, Charles. There is also the ability, if you were to export these reports, I know AI is actually pretty good at reading spreadsheets, and it could probably create like a PDF sample for you to say like, hey, what information from this do you think my clients would like? And it might be able to create something with some charts and colors and things that would look really nice for your client, but be based on that real data dump that we're providing. So I hope that was helpful, Charles. That's I'm kind of spitballing here as we're talking. Okay, and yes, Arthur, we will call that number and we will answer those questions offline for you. Is there an easier way to add a new item without a rule? So Eric, that will depend a little bit on how your shop is set up. So if you have created your shop through the automated shop creation process, so i.e. selecting shop colors and then we generate a fully populated shop for you, all new items that we add to the catalog will automatically be added to your storefronts if they meet your selected attributes. So that means if one of your shop colors is navy, we add a new product and it has a navy variant, that would automatically be made available in your shop. Now, that being said, if you have, for instance, excluded all bags as a category and we add a new bag, we're not going to add that to your shop. So that functionality is new, but we are making it easier for you to restrict or maintain these catalogs in a more robust way. So if you want to add an individual item, that's where you would use those featured products. So last week's Thursday webinar, we really did a deep dive into featured products. If you are interested in that webinar and you weren't able to attend, you can just reach out to our support team at support@moq1.com and I can make sure they have the link to send you. Are all new products you get automatically added to the shop? Yes, they are. I know I reviewed that probably seconds after you asked it, but yes, they're automatically added to a shop for you, again, if they meet your selected attributes. So again, if you have built, for instance, this Markham Motors sample shop that I showed you at the very beginning of the webinar, that shop was created via all featured products, right? So when I was creating that shop, I did not select any shop colors, which tells our system not to add any products. Then I went in and built every product manually. So there are 12 products on that storefront. And in that case, no new products would be automatically added to that storefront. However, those automated stores, yes, absolutely. So we actually do have, I want to say about 35 or 40 new products that we're expecting to be added within the next few weeks. So if you have those automatically created shops, you can expect those to populate right away. Again, we will send emails when those things happen so that you can see the product list and go in and maintain those as needed if there are particular products that you don't want to add or you want to create featured products based on. So look out for those communications too. We do have questions slowing down, so go ahead and rack your brains for a moment while I'm thanking you all for attending. I also want to just remind everyone that we have a very vibrant MOQ1 Facebook community. I am one of the admins of that group. We also have many account reps that are there to answer questions, but the most valuable thing about that group is that it's populated with users like you. So a lot of folks are using it to soundboard ideas, ask troubleshooting questions and things like that. Obviously, we're here to help at any point, but it's really valuable to hear from other folks who are using the MOQ1 platform and seeing how they're integrating it into their processes. So hopefully you are able to join. Just enter your account email and we'll accept you into our private group. Okay, no additional questions. Oh, I'm sorry. One more right in. Can you duplicate an entire shop to use as a template? That's not something that we have accommodated just yet, but that's a fairly new suggestion we just received over the last couple of months. So we are working on integrating possibly a tagging system that would allow you to, for instance, tag particular products corporate and then load up all products tagged with corporate into a new shop. So that would be on an account by account basis rather than tagging in a particular shop. So to answer your question directly, no, you cannot do that yet, but we are working on it. Okay. Well, I'm glad this was at least valuable enough for all of you that you don't have just a ton of questions after seeing me go through it. But if anything comes up after we close out this webinar, please reach out to our support team. We're happy to walk you through your particular scenario. We had a couple of specific questions, account specific questions in the Q&A after this. We'll work through those with you offline. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thank you for using MOQ1. Bye.